No one spoke a word, until the human said, "You have cute ears." The aliens froze. The alien ship hung like a dark giant above a dead planet. Its black metal walls gleamed faintly under the cold light of distant stars. The planet below was a gray, cracked ball, covered in scars from some terrible force. Inside the ship, a meeting room buzzed with nervous energy. Dim blue lights cast long shadows on the walls. Around a massive stone table sat alien leaders, each one strange and different. Some had scales that shimmered like wet glass. Others had fur that twitched with fear. A few had glowing eyes that darted around, watching everything. Nobody spoke. The air felt thick, heavy with dread. On a giant screen above the table, an image flickered. A planet, once green and alive, now a burned-out husk. Craters dotted its surface, and dark clouds swirled where oceans used to be. The alien leaders glanced at it, then away, their faces tight with worry. Whispers broke the silence, soft and scared. The devourers, one hissed, a furry creature with long claws. They did this. Another, with slimy tentacles, shivered and muttered, "They're coming for us next." The name devourers hung in the room like a curse. Nobody knew much about them, only that they destroyed worlds, leaving nothing behind. The heavy doors of the room slid open with a low hum. Every head turned. A human walked in. His name was Jack, a warrior from Earth. He was tall, with broad shoulders and a scarred face that told stories of battles fought and won. His simple armor, scratched and dented, looked plain next to the aliens' shiny suits and glowing robes. His boots clicked on the metal floor as he strode to an empty chair. The aliens stared, their eyes wide with distrust. Humans were new to this Galactic Council, a group of species trying to survive in a dangerous universe. Most thought humans were weak, unimportant. Why was one here? Jack sat down, his movements slow and calm. A small smirk played on his lips, like he knew something nobody else did. The aliens shifted in their seats, uneasy. Krax, the leader of the scaled aliens, stood up. His green scales glinted under the lights, and his sharp teeth flashed as he spoke. "Why is the human here?" he growled, his voice deep and rough. "This is no place for your kind." His long tail flicked angrily, and his pointed ears twitched. The other aliens nodded, muttering agreement. "Humans are soft," said a furry leader with red eyes. "They break easily," added another. "With tentacles." Jack didn't answer. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, still smirking. His dark eyes scanned the room, taking in every face, every nervous twitch. The silence grew heavier, like a storm about to break. Krax slammed a clawed hand on the table, making it shake. "Speak, human," he roared. "Why do you sit there, grinning like a fool? The devourers are coming. They'll eat our worlds. And you dare mock us?" The screen behind him flickered again, showing the dead planet's ruins. A few aliens gasped, their fear spilling out. Jack tilted his head, looking straight at Krax. The room went still. Every eye was on him. Slowly, he leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. His smirk grew wider. "You have cute ears," he said, his voice clear and steady. The words hit the room like a bomb. The aliens froze. Krax's jaw dropped, his scales turning pale. The furry leader's claws dug into the table. The tentacled alien's eyes blinked rapidly, confused. Cute ears. What did that mean? Was the human mocking them? Or was he crazy? Whispers erupted, a mix of anger and shock. "Is he joking?" hissed one. "He insults us," growled another. Krax's tail lashed the air. "You dare," he snarled, stepping closer to Jack. "You think this is a game? The devourers will crush you and your weak planet." Jack didn't flinch. He kept his eyes locked on Krax, his smirk never fading. The tension in the room was electric, like a spark could set it on fire. The other aliens leaned forward, waiting for Jack to explain, to fight, to do something. But he just sat there, calm as ever, like he held all the answers. The giant screen flickered one last time, showing a shadow moving across the stars, a massive shape, too big to be a ship, too dark to be friendly. The devourers were close. The aliens gasped, their fear now a living thing in the room. Jack's smirk grew just a little wider. He leaned back again, hands behind his head, Relax, he said softly. We're just getting started. The screen faded to black. What did Jack mean by cute ears? Was he mocking cracks, or was there a plan? Why was he so calm with the devourers so close? The questions hung in the air, unanswered, pulling everyone deeper into the mystery. The alien ship hummed quietly, its dark walls glowing faintly under the starlight. Inside the meeting room, the air was still thick with shock. The alien leaders stared at Jack, the human warrior, who sat calmly, his smirk untouched by their glares. Krax, the scaled alien leader, clenched his claws, his green scales flashing with anger. Cute ears? He growled, his voice echoing. You mock me, human. The other aliens furry, tentacled. And Spiky muttered, their eyes flicking between Jack and the giant screen showing a dead planet's ruins. The devourers, the galaxy's terror, were coming. Yet Jack looked like he was enjoying a sunny day. Jack leaned back, his scarred face catching the dim blue light. Relax, Krax, he said, his voice smooth and low. I know something you don't. The room went quiet again. The furry alien with red eyes leaned forward. Curious despite her fear, the tentacled one blinked, its slimy skin twitching. Krax narrowed his eyes. What could a human know? He spat. Your kind is new, weak, barely out of your caves. Jack's smirk grew, but he said nothing, letting the silence stretch like a tight rope. The scene shifted, the room fading into a memory. Years ago, on a dusty planet far from Earth, Jack crouched in a broken alien ship. Sand blew through its cracked hull, and strange symbols glowed weakly on the walls. Jack, younger but already scarred, led a small team of human soldiers. They were explorers, sent to find old tech to help Earth join the Galactic Council. The ship was ancient, its air thick with dust and secrets. Careful, Jack whispered to his team, his hand on his gun. A faint hum came from a cracked console. He brushed off the dirt, revealing a glowing panel. It flickered, and a voice old, robotic. Alien spoke in broken words. Beware, devourers, flattery, disarms them. Jack's team froze. Flattery, said Mia, a young soldier with wide eyes. Like compliments, Jack frowned, staring at the console. The message looped, faint and crackling. Devourers, fear, kind words. The team laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. But Jack didn't laugh. His eyes narrowed, his mind racing. He recorded the message, saving it on a small device he kept in his pocket. The memory faded, the dusty ship replaced by the tense meeting room. Back in the present, Jack tapped his fingers on the table. I've seen the devourers work, he said, his voice steady, and I know how to stop them. The aliens gasped. Krax laughed, a harsh, barking sound. You, a human, you've never even seen them. Jack's smirk didn't waver. He pulled a small device from his pocket, the same one from the memory. He pressed a button, and a hologram flickered to life above the table. It showed a dark, jagged shape moving through space, bigger than any ship in the room. Its edges glowed with a sickly green light, and smaller shapes, drones, maybe swarmed around it like angry bugs. That's a devourer ship, Jack said. I found one, up close. The aliens leaned forward, their fear mixing with curiosity. The furry leader's claws twitched. How did you survive? She asked. Jack shrugged. Got lucky, he said, but his eyes glinted with something else. Secrets, maybe, or a plan. Krax slammed the table again. Lies, he roared. No one sees the devourers and lives. Jack tilted his head, his smirk turning sharp. I did, he said, and I learned something weird. They don't like fighting if you're nice. To them, the room erupted in shouts. Nice, cried the tentacled alien. They eat planets. Jack nodded. Exactly. That's why my plan will work. The aliens argued, their voices loud and panicked. Krax pointed a claw at Jack. You're crazy. Human, your kind will get us all killed. Jack stood, his armor creaking. He was taller than most in the room, and his calm made the aliens nervous. Trust me or not, he said, but I know how to stop them, and you won't like my plan. He paused, letting the words sink in. The screen behind him flickered, showing the dead planet again. A faint shadow moved across it, something big, getting closer. The devourers were near. The aliens froze, their eyes wide. Jack's smirk returned, bigger now. Ready to listen? He asked, his voice soft but heavy with promise. The screen faded to black. What was Jack's plan? Why did he think being nice could stop the Devourers? And what did he mean by "you won't like it"? The alien ship loomed like a silent beast in the void, its dark hull swallowing the faint glow of distant stars. Inside the meeting room, chaos erupted. The alien leaders shouted over each other, their voices a mix of growls, hisses, and clicks. The dim blue lights flickered as if struggling to keep up with their anger. The giant screen above the stone table showed a dead planet's ruins, its cracked surface a grim reminder of the Devourer's power. Jack, the human warrior, stood tall, his scarred face calm, his smirk sharp as a blade. His words, "I know how to stop them, and you won't like it," hung in the air like a challenge. Cracks. The scaled alien leader bared his sharp teeth, his green scales flashing with rage. "You lie, human," he roared, his long tail slamming the floor with a thud. "You know nothing of the Devourers." His pointed ears twitched, still stinging from Jack's strange comment about them being cute. The other aliens joined in, their distrust loud and clear. A furry leader with glowing red eyes, named Vera, hissed, "Humans are new, weak, you bring nothing but talk." A tentacled alien, called Slen, waved its slimy limbs. "We should fight, not listen to this fool." Its voice gurgled, spitting the last word. Jack didn't flinch. He crossed his arms, his simple armor creaking softly, his dark eyes scanned the room, taking in every angry face. The aliens' fear was thick, but so was their pride. Each species had its own way of showing it. Crax's scales flared brighter. Vera's fur puffed up like a storm cloud, and Slen's tentacles curled into tight knots. Jack's calm made them angrier. He stepped forward, his boots echoing in the sudden quiet. "You want to fight the Devourers?" he asked, his voice low but clear. "Go ahead. They'll eat your ships like snacks." The aliens gasped. Crax leaned closer, his claws digging into the table. "And you think you can do better, human?" he snarled. Jack pulled out his small device again, the one from the ancient ship. He pressed a button, and the hologram flickered back to life. The Devourer ship appeared massive, black, its jagged edges glowing with sickly green light. Drones swarmed around it, their red eyes blinking like stars. "I saw this," Jack said, close enough to feel its heat. "I'm still here." The aliens stared, their anger mixed with shock. Vera's red eyes narrowed. "How?" she whispered. Jack shrugged, his smirk growing. "Humans are stubborn," he said. "We don't die easy." He tapped the device, and the hologram zoomed in, showing the Devourer ship's surface covered in strange carvings, like faces frozen in screams. "I studied them," Jack said. "They're strong, but they're not invincible. I know their weakness." The aliens leaned forward, curious despite themselves. Slen's tentacles uncurled slightly. "What weakness?" it asked, its voice less angry now. Before Jack could answer, a loud beep cut through the room. The screen behind him flickered, switching from the dead planet to a live feed. A small scout ship's signal crackled, its pilot's voice shaking. "Council, Devour fleet, approaching, fast." The screen showed a dark cloud in space. Moving closer, shapes emerged, huge ships, their green glow pulsing like a heartbeat. The aliens froze, their faces pale. Vera's fur flattened in fear. Slen's tentacles curled tight again. Crax growled, but his voice wavered. "We're doomed," he muttered. Jack didn't move. His smirk widened, his eyes glinting with something wild. "Good," he said, his voice almost cheerful. "They're coming to us." The aliens turned to him, stunned. Crax's scales rattled. "Good?" he shouted. "Are you mad, human?" Jack stepped onto the table, his boots clanging. He looked down at the aliens, his shadow long under the flickering lights. "You want to run, hide?" he asked. "Or do you want to win?" His words were sharp, cutting through their fear. The aliens stared, caught between doubt and hope. Crax pointed a claw at Jack. "Your tricks will kill us," he roared. Jack jumped down, landing close to Crax, his face inches from the aliens. "My tricks," he said softly, "are all we've got." He turned to the screen. watching the Devour fleet grow closer. "Get ready," he said. "This is gonna be fun." The screen faded to black. Why was Jack happy about the Devourers coming? What was his trick? Could a human really outsmart the galaxy's worst enemy? The alien ship trembled as the Devour fleet loomed closer, a black cloud blotting out the stars. Inside the meeting room, the air was thick with panic. The giant screen flickered, showing massive ships, their jagged hulls glowing with sickly green light. Drones swarmed around them, their red eyes blinking like angry fireflies. The alien leaders, scaled, furry, and tentacled, stared, their faces pale. Cracks, the scaled leader, gripped the stone table, his claws scratching deep marks. "We're doomed," he growled, his green scales dim with fear. Vera, the furry alien, whispered, "No one stops the Devourers." Slen, the tentacled one, curled its limbs tight, silent, but shaking. Jack, the human warrior, stood apart, his scarred face calm, his smirk sharp. His simple armor looked out of place among the aliens' glowing robes. "Stop whining," he said, his voice cutting through the chaos. "I'll talk to them." The aliens gasped. Cracks spun, his tail lashing. "Talk," he roared. "They'll eat you, human." Jack shrugged, his dark eyes glinting. "Maybe," he said, "but I've got a trick." He tapped the small device in his pocket, the one from the ancient ship that spoke of flattery disarming the Devourers. The aliens didn't know about it, but Jack's confidence made them pause. The screen flashed red. The scout ship's signal crackled again. "They're here," the pilot shouted. The Devour fleet stopped, their lead ship dwarfing the alien council's vessel. Its surface was carved with strange, twisted shapes, like screams frozen in metal. A low hum filled the room, vibrating the walls. The aliens froze, their eyes wide. Jack stepped to the communication panel, his fingers dancing over alien buttons that glowed like liquid stars. "Let me handle this," he said, ignoring Crax's growl. Jack pressed a button, and his voice boomed through the ship's speakers, broadcasting to the Devourers. "Hey," he said, his tone light, almost playful. "Nice ship. Beautiful design. Really shiny." The aliens gasped, their jaws dropping. Crax's scales rattled. "What are you doing?" he hissed. Vera's red eyes blinked fast. "He's mocking them." Slen's tentacles waved wildly. "He'll kill us all." But Jack ignored them, his smirk growing. The Devourers didn't fire. Their ship stayed still, its green glow pulsing slower, like it was listening. A voice answered, deep and cold, like metal scraping stone. "Who speaks?" it demanded, echoing through the room. The aliens flinched, but Jack leaned closer to the panel. "Jack, from Earth," he said. "I like your style. Those drones, very cool." The room went silent. The aliens stared, their fear mixing with confusion. The Devourer's voice came again, slower this time. "Why do you speak, human? You are nothing." Jack chuckled, his laugh soft but bold. "Nothing, nah. I just think you're interesting." The screen flickered, showing a close-up of the Devourer ship. Its surface shimmered, and a faint ripple ran across it, like water disturbed by a stone. The aliens whispered, shocked. "They're not attacking," Vera said, her fur puffing up. Slen's tentacles uncurled slightly. "What is happening?" it gurgled. Crax glared at Jack. "This is your plan." "Words," he spat. Jack didn't look at him. He kept his eyes on the screen, his smirk steady. "Wait for it," he said softly. The Devourers spoke again, their voice sharp with suspicion. "Why do you not fear us, human?" they asked. Jack leaned back, crossing his arms. "Because I know something you don't," he said. "Earth's got tricks you've never seen." The aliens exchanged looks, their distrust wavering. The Devourer ship's glow dimmed, its drones slowing their swarm. The hum in the room softened, like a beast calming down. Jack's fingers tapped his device, his mind racing. The ancient message, "Flattery disarms them," echoed in his head. Was it working? Crax stepped closer, his claws raised. "You're crazy, human," he growled. "You'll get us killed." Jack turned, his smirk sharp as ever. "Or I'll save you," he said. The screen flashed again. The Devourer's voice boomed. "Speak, human. Tell us more." The aliens froze, their eyes wide. Jack's smirk grew wider. He leaned toward the panel, ready to say more, when the screen flickered, showing the Devourer ship moving closer. The screen faded to black. Why did the Devourers pause? Was Jack's flattery really working, or was it a trap? What would he say next to keep them from attacking? The Alien Council's ship hung in the shadow of the Devourer fleet, its dark hull dwarfed by the massive, jagged ships glowing with sickly green light. Inside the meeting room, the air was thick with fear. The giant screen showed the lead Devourer ship, its surface carved with twisted, screaming faces that seemed to move in the flickering light. The alien leader's Krax, with his flashing green scales, Vera with her puffed-up fur, and Slen with his writhing tentacles stared at the screen, their eyes wide. Jack, the human warrior, stood by the communication panel, his scarred face calm, his smirk sharp. His strange compliments had paused the Devourer's attack, but now they demanded more. "They want me to come aboard," Jack said, his voice steady, almost cheerful. The aliens gasped. Krax's tail slammed the floor, shaking. "The stone table, you're mad," he roared. "They'll tear you apart." Vera's red eyes blinked fast. "No one returns from a Devourer ship," she whispered. Slen's tentacles curled tight. "It's a trap," he gurgled. Jack shrugged, his simple armor creaking. "Maybe," he said, tapping the small device. In his pocket, the one with the ancient message about flattery disarming the Devourers. "But I've got a plan." A small shuttle launched from the Council ship, carrying Jack alone. The aliens watched on the screen, their faces tight with dread. The shuttle, a tiny speck, approached the Devourer ship. Its hull opened like a giant mouth, swallowing the shuttle whole. Inside, Jack stepped into a vast, dark chamber. The walls pulsed with green veins like a living thing. Shadows moved in the corners, and a low hum vibrated the floor. Strange. Machines floated, their red eyes blinking, watching him. The air was cold, heavy with a metallic smell. Jack's boots echoed as he walked, his smirk unchanged. 3 Devourers appeared, towering over him. They were huge, their bodies like smoke and metal, with glowing white eyes and claws sharp as blades. Their faces were blank, but their mouths twitched, showing rows of jagged teeth. "Human," one hissed, its voice like a knife scraping bone. "Why do you come?" Jack tilted his head, his eyes locked on the leader. "I like your ship," he said. "Very stylish, those glowing veins, nice touch." The Devourers paused, their eyes flickering. The aliens watching on the Council ship gasped. Krax growled. "He's still joking," Vera whispered. "It's working." The Devourer leader leaned closer, its claws twitching. "Why no fear, human?" it asked, its voice sharp with suspicion. Jack's smirk grew. "Your claws are impressive," he said. "Strong, sharp, bet they could cut a star in half." The other Devourers shifted, their smoky bodies rippling. The leader's eyes narrowed, but it didn't attack. Jack kept talking, his voice calm. "And your eyes, they glow like moons. Earth could use some of that." The chamber's hum softened, the green veins pulsing slower. The aliens on the screen leaned forward, stunned. Slen's tentacles uncurled. "They're listening," he said. The Devourer leader tilted its head, mimicking Jack. "You are strange, human," it said. "Your kind is weak, yet you speak bold." Jack stepped closer, unafraid. "Weak," he said, his smirk sharp. "Humans have tricks you've never seen. We're small, but we're tough." He patted his armor, dented from battles. The Devourers exchanged glances, their claws twitching less. The leader's mouth twitched, almost like a smile. "Tricks?" it asked. Jack nodded. "Big ones," he said, his voice low, teasing. Back on the Council ship, the aliens argued. Krax slammed the table. "He's crazy. He'll anger them." Vera's fur twitched. "But they're not attacking," she said. Slen's eyes blinked. "What is he doing?" The screen showed Jack walking deeper into the chamber, the Devourers following like curious shadows. The walls pulsed faster, and strange lights danced, forming shapes like eyes watching him. Jack kept talking, complimenting their machines, their strength, their cool style. The Devourers listened, their aggression fading, but their eyes stayed sharp. The leader stopped, its claws rising. "Enough words," it hissed. Prove your strength, human or die. The chamber's hum grew loud, the green veins flaring. Jack's smirk didn't waver. He reached for his device, his fingers steady. "Okay," he said. "Let's play." The screen faded to black. What would Jack do to prove himself? Were his compliments enough? Or was this a trap? Could a human really outsmart the Devourers on their own ship? The Devourer ship's chamber pulsed with an eerie green glow, its living walls writhing like veins of a giant beast. The air was cold, sharp with a metallic bite. Jack, the human warrior, stood in the center, his scarred face bathed in the sickly light. His simple, dented armor seemed tiny against the towering Devourers, their smoky bodies swirling with claws like daggers and eyes burning white-hot. The leader's voice scraped like rusted metal. "Prove your strength, human or die." Floating machines hovered around them, their red eyes blinking, humming with menace. Jack's smirk held steady, his dark eyes sparkling with a hidden plan. On the council ship, the alien leaders watched the giant screen, their faces tight with dread. Cracks, the scaled leader, bared his teeth, his green scales flashing. The humans finished, he growled, his tail whipping the floor. Vera, the furry one with glowing red eyes, shook her head. "He's still alive," she whispered, her fur bristling. Slen, the tentacled alien, uncurled a limb. "What's his game?" he gurgled. The screen showed Jack, bold and unshaken, facing the Devourers alone. The aliens leaned forward, torn between fear and a flicker of hope. Jack slipped his hand into his pocket, gripping the small device from the ancient ship, the one whispering that flattery could tame the Devourers. He pressed a button and a hologram sparked to life. It showed a massive ship, bigger than the Devourers, its silver hull gleaming with blue lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. Cannons bristled along its sides, glowing with fake power. The Devourers froze, their claws twitching. "What's this?" the leader hissed, its smoky form rippling. Jack's smirk widened. "Earth's super weapon," he said. "The Starbreaker, one blast, and your fleet's gone." The chamber's green veins flared bright, then dimmed. As if the ship itself was curious, the Devourers' eyes flickered, their smoky bodies shifting like storm clouds. "You lie," the leader said, but its voice cracked. Jack stepped closer, his boots loud in the quiet. "Lie," he said, his voice smooth. "This thing can split stars. Want to see it try?" The hologram zoomed in, showing fake details, spinning turbines, glowing shields, and human pilots waving from a cockpit. It was all a bluff, stitched together from old Earth data and Jack's quick tech skills. But it looked real. The Devourers hissed, their voices like shattering glass. The leader tilted its head, claws curling. "Bold human," it said, almost impressed. Jack nodded, his tone light but sharp. "You're smart to see it," he said. "Your strength is huge. Those claws, they could carve mountains. But fighting us, bad choice. Humans are tougher than we look." The machines slowed, their red eyes dimming. The chamber's hum softened, like a predator relaxing. On the council ship, the aliens gasped. "They're listening," Vera said, her fur twitching. Cracks snarled, "It's a trick." Jack kept going, his words like a dance. "Your ships are stunning," he said. "Those carvings, like galaxy art. Why waste them on a fight? Team up with us instead." The Devourer's eyes narrowed, but their claws stayed still. The leader's mouth twitched, almost a grin. "Team with you?" it asked. Jack shrugged. "Why not? You're clever, we're clever. Together, we'd own the stars." The chambers walls pulsed and odd lights swirled, forming shapes like watching eyes. The Devourers murmured, their voices low, unsure. On the council ship, chaos broke out. Cracks slammed the table, cracking it. "He's lost his mind," he roared. "Join the Devourers? He's betraying us." Vera's eyes blinked fast. "But they're not firing," she said. Slen's tentacles waved. "He's stalling them," he said, awe in his voice. The screen showed the Devourers circling Jack, their eyes sharp but their movements slow. The fake Starbreaker hologram spun, its blue lights dazzling. Jack stood tall, his smirk steady, but his fingers gripped the device tight. One slip, and the lie would crumble. The Devourer leader loomed closer, its claws scraping the floor. "Show us this Starbreaker," it demanded, its voice cold but curious. "Bring it to us." The chamber's veins flared, the machines humming louder. Jack's smirk didn't fade. Though his pulse raced, the Starbreaker was a fiction, a desperate gamble. "Sure," he said, his voice bold. "Let's take a ride and see it." The screen faded to black. Could Jack keep the Devourers fooled? Was his bluff enough? Or would they demand more proof? What would happen when they learned the Starbreaker wasn't real? The Devourer ship's chamber pulsed with green light, its living walls humming like a restless beast. Jack, the human warrior, stepped out of the shuttle, back on the council ship. His scarred face was calm, but his dark eyes burned with focus. The alien leader's Krax, with his flashing green scales, Vera with her bristling fur, and Slen with his writhing tentacles stared as he entered the meeting room. The giant screen showed the Devourer fleet, their massive ships looming closer, their jagged hulls glowing with sickly green light. The aliens' faces were pale, their fear thick. Jack's smirk flickered, sharp as ever. "You're alive," Vera whispered, her red eyes wide. Krax's tail lashed. "What did you do, human?" he growled. Jack tossed his small device, the one with the ancient message about flattery, onto the table. "I bluffed," he said. "Told them we have a super weapon, the Starbreaker." The aliens gasped. Slen's tentacles curled tight. "But there's no weapon," he gurgled. Jack's smirk grew. "Nope, all fake. And they bought it." Krax's scales rattled. "You lied to them," he roared. "They'll destroy us." The screen flashed red. The Devourer's voice boomed, cold and sharp. "Human, show the Starbreaker. Now." The alien leaders froze. Vera's fur flattened. "They followed you," she said, her voice shaking. Jack stepped to the communication panel, his fingers steady. "They want proof," he said. "So we give them a show." Krax grabbed his arm, claws digging in. "You'll kill us all." Jack pulled free, his smirk bold. "Or save you," he said. "Trust me." Jack turned to the aliens, his voice strong. "Your ships, your weapons. Line them up. All of them." Slen blinked. "Fight?" he asked. Jack shook his head. "No, scare them. Together, we look bigger than we are." The aliens hesitated, their distrust lingering. Vera stepped forward, her fur rising. "He's right," she said. "We're stronger together." Slen nodded, his tentacles uncurling. Krax growled but said, "Fine, for now." The aliens rushed to their stations, their ships powering up. Outside, the Council's fleet formed a wall in space-scaled ships with glowing cannons, furry ships with spinning drones, tentacled ships with pulsing shields. Jack's small human shuttle joined them, its dented hull tiny but proud. The Devourer fleet loomed, their green glow casting shadows across the stars. Jack hit the broadcast button. His voice echoed, calm and clear. "Devourers, you're strong, really strong. But we're stronger together. Look at us. You want to fight. You'll lose." The screen showed the Council fleet, a dazzling mix of lights and shapes. The alien ships hummed, their weapons glowing, not firing but ready. The Devourers' ships slowed, their drones pausing. Their leader's voice crackled. "You challenge us, human." Jack leaned closer, his smirk sharp. "Nah, I'm saying you're smart. Smart enough to walk away." The chamber's green veins dimmed, the hum softening. The Devourers whispered, their voices like breaking ice, unsure, on the Council ship. The aliens watched, breathless. Vera's eyes glowed. "It's working," she said. Slen's tentacles waved. "They're scared." Krax's tail twitched, but he stayed silent. The screen showed the Devourer fleet shifting, their ships turning slowly, like beasts unsure of their prey. Jack kept talking, his voice steady. "Your ships are amazing. Why ruin them? Go find easier targets." The Devourer's leader hissed, but the fleet began to drift back, their green glow fading into the dark. The aliens cheered, their voices shaking the room. Vera's fur puffed with pride. Slen's tentacles danced. Krax grunted, his scales dull. "Your crazy plan worked, human," he said, almost a smile. Jack leaned back, his smirk softening. "Never doubt a human," he said. The screen showed the Devourer fleet vanishing into the stars, leaving the Council's ships untouched. The aliens clapped, their distrust gone, replaced by awe. As the cheers faded, Jack's device beeped. A new signal flickered, faint, alien, warning of another threat. He glanced at it, his smirk returning. "Guess I'll need more compliments," he said, winking at the aliens. The room laughed, nervous but hopeful. The screen faded to black. What was the new threat? Could Jack's tricks save the galaxy again? Would the aliens trust humans now?